Hi there, everybody. This is Phil Simbart from the Backgammon Learning Center, and as many of you know, I have interviewed about 40 of the top players in the world over time. Many of them can be found on the website of Backgammon Galore, but in recent years I've been doing video interviews with top players and interesting personalities in backgammon, and today I'm very proud to have with me Hideaki Ueda. Say that for me, Hideaki. Make sure I pronounced it right.
Hideaki Ueda.
Hideaki Ueda. It's spelled Udea, but so you don't know how to say it. But I'll teach you. I'm very good at Japanese, so I'll teach you. I'll give you a little lecture on the language. But as many of you may know, just last week they finished up the Ultimate Backgammon Championships, which is an incredible competition that's sponsored by Backgammon Galaxy and Mark Olson, who does a great job with an incredibly great website that's really taken the backgammon world by storm. And he was sharp enough to have live commentary with himself and Nick Blazier doing the commentary where Hideaki was competing against Mochi. Hideaki earned the right to compete in the finals by winning the qualifying events. And of course, we all know Mochi is the world champion and the number one ranked player in the world. And it was a great challenge. But what amazed me is that for the 12 matches, they often had 6,000-7,000 people watching at once. And for the final match on YouTube, I just checked, there were 13,000 people who had viewed the match. The commentary, the play was incredible. Hideaki played at just under 2.6 PR, which is almost unheard of for live play over 12 matches. And Mochi played a little bit better. What did Mochi play at?
I guess 2.70 in total.
2. Yeah.
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but actually, in date, yes.
You played at 2.59. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to play he played a little bit better than that because he beat you in both the PR and matches. He won 7 out of 12 matches. And it's just incredible.
Yes.
Am I wrong? Did you beat him in the PR?
Yes, exactly. But just an average PR. So I lost 7 times by PR out of 12 matches.
Oh, okay. But in average PR, you actually outplayed Mochi. That's amazing. That's just incredible.
Yeah, that's right.
For people who aren't really knowledgeable about the game, what that's saying is that what we're doing is we're running all of these matches through the best software, which is Extreme Gammon. And I'm going to admit right now that I have a vested interest in Extreme Gammon. I helped develop and market it. I didn't do much of the development, but I did a lot of the marketing and got it onto the market. And I do get a piece of it when people buy it. And I do have a video. So I have a vested interest, and I wanted to disclose that in front. But there's no question that everyone who knows the game agrees that software is better than any player in the world and is very accurate. And what those PRs mean, that's performance rating, which is a term that I created, by the way, which means that they're only making about 2 to 2.5% errors off of playing perfectly, according to the way the computer plays. So this is really unheard of. There are very few people in the world who can play anywhere close to that level. I think there's a few others, a couple more in Japan, and I would certainly think that Wilcox Snelling and Victor Ashkenazi, and we know that Kazuki can probably play down at that level, and there's a few others that might come close. And I'm sorry if I left anybody out, but there's not too many that can really do anything like that. It was really amazing with the stress over the board over 12 live matches too. Afterwards, I saw the interview with Mochi, and he was totally exhausted. Were you exhausted too?
Yeah, of course. Oh, why not?
I'm interested. Mochi mentioned that during the matches to prepare, he was living with and practicing with Kazuki. What were you doing? Were you getting help from anybody or working with anyone?
Yes, of course. I practiced with Michi and Yoshiyuki Nakamura. Yeah.
Okay. So Michi and you both live in Osaka. I should mention you're 30 years old. You live in Osaka, Japan, and Michi, of course, lives in Osaka and has always been known as is clearly one of the best players in the world. By the way, Michi also plays at that level. I shouldn't have left off his name. He's down there in that 2.5 range also.
Yes.
So you're 30 years old. You have a Master of Information Science and Engineering from what university?
Tokyo University.
Tokyo, very, very fine. So that's got to be one of the best degrees you get, and you're making your parents very proud by taking that degree and playing backgammon, right? You're not working in the field.
Yes.
What is your plan in the future? Do you plan to get a job, or do you plan to pretty much stay with backgammon?
I don't intend to enter some job right now because I don't earn so much money currently, but so I want to pursue the backgammon performance. Yeah, now currently seriously.
Well,
yeah.
You've got a model. Many people don't know that Coach was accepted to one school, a college in Japan, and he dropped out to pursue backgammon, and we all know the rest of the story. He's made a very fine living out of it, aside from the fact that he's really enjoying what he's doing. So I've been to Tokyo several times for the tournaments there, and I hang out with my good friends with Kenji and Mochi and Akiko and all the Japanese players and Michi, and we really have a great time. And I had the personal private tour of Osaka by Michi. He took me and my friends through Osaka, and it's really one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It's got a lot of terrific history. But what about the backgammon community in Osaka? Do you have much of a group? Do you have regular tournaments? Are there many people playing?
Yes. So before COVID, we have a local tournament once a week, and around 10 participants in every tournament. Yes. So
okay,
not a big part. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very low compared to Tokyo, which I know they can get a lot. They get a lot more players there. So how did you get so good? Were you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, but there are also many good players in Osaka, not only in Tokyo.
There are.
Yeah. I know there are many grandmasters in Osaka, like at least 5.
Wow. I live in Chicago. I live in Chicago, which is it's a huge city, and I think Neil Kazaros would be our grandmaster. Of course, John O'Hagan is also, but he doesn't really live in Chicago. He's in a suburb sort of in nearby Indiana. But that's too. And L.A. we have 3 great players. You've got Bob Wachtel and Steve Sachs and Joe Russell.
Yes.
New York has a couple of great players, but nothing in the United States, if we compare with the number of really great players you have in Osaka and Tokyo. And
sorry, not
that?
maybe 5, but maybe 4 like that. Yes. Yes.
So why are you guys? Do you all study together? Are there great Japanese books, or are you just what's the reason that Tokyo is turning out so many incredibly great young players like you?
So I can't guess properly, but maybe it's up to Mochio or Michi. And there are many. All top players in Japan are very kind to others and newcomers, and for younger generations. So they can teach me or us many things about backgammon, and that was definitely the one reason that Japan is so strong now.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's a real tribute to both Mochi and Michi, because I know they've been incredibly generous working with younger kids who are now growing up. And how long ago did you start studying the game?
4 years ago. I mean, just started playing 4 years ago, and I just
didn't I meet you in Cyprus 2 years ago? You and I got together in Cyprus and we're talking about you being a teacher, and
I'm afraid that was in Monte Carlo.
Oh, that was in Monte Carlo. Okay, so that we were in Monte Carlo, you were already a very fine player, and that was 2 years ago. You were already playing at under 3 PR then. So you
Yeah.
achieved grandmaster status in 2 years. That's just unbelievable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So it's great coaching, and you had to be smart to begin with. By the way, the commentary by Nick Glazier and Mark Olson was fantastic, and I urge everybody to go to YouTube and watch that. And I'm going to take a little credit for Nick Glazier. He's one of my students, and Nick went from an intermediate player to an open player to a really fine open player in about a year. That's almost as good as the achievement that you've done in a short period of time. He isn't as good as you, but he's really up there as a top open player. And it's only because he had such an incredibly great teacher, because the guy's really stupid. I mean, if you listen to him, he doesn't know a thing. Of course, I'm kidding. He's a great guy, a good friend of mine, so I can joke with him because we're very good friends. In fact, he and I went to Tokyo together and stayed together a few years ago. We had a really good time and became very good friends then, as well as and being my student. Let's talk some more about you. So your plans are to stay with backgammon for now. You're living in Osaka. And I know you have a girlfriend. Aside from your girlfriend, do you have any other interests? Are there other games or sports or other things that you do?
Not specific one, but I like general board game in general. Every board game. So I often play some board game on backgammon. Board game arena. That is an online board game server that also. Several hundreds of board games we can play there. And
do you play Go? I understand Go is very popular in Japan.
Yes, I know it's very popular in Japan, but I don't play very well, nor shogi. But yeah, I like to play that.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing with me and with our audience. What I'm going to do now is give you the same kind of test I gave Mochi about a month ago and John O'Hagan a couple of weeks ago. Every now and then when I have a match, I have what I call the match from hell. The match seems to have all these positions that just cause me or my opponent or both of us real difficulty, and they all came up naturally. Match, and I'm going to give you a test now. And I promise everybody that you have not seen these positions. You might fail miserably. You might miss them completely, or you might get them all right. We'll see. But I want to tell you that I've already shown these positions to another very top player, not quite as good as you, but not far behind you. And he had a lot of trouble with these, so I don't expect you to get them all right. But I expect to learn from you. After we see the answer, I want to hear from you why the right play is right, because I'm having a problem with all of these. And I'm a teacher, but I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, that I need help from someone like you. Now, I'm going to tell the audience that because this is a video, you can play along with Hideaki and ask yourself how you would make the play. And if you need more time, just pause the video and take more time, and then we'll hear what Hideaki says, and I'll show you the extreme gammon rollout. And then we can talk about why the right play is right. So here's my latest match from hell. It's from a 5-point match, and here's the first position. The score is 5 away, or 0-0, but we use the away score. And blue is on roll, and blue has a 5-3 to play. So give it a little thought, and then tell me how you would play the 5-3.
Wow. I'm not sure about everything, so let me think about some options. So you can play 18-10, and you can play 18-13 and 7-4 cover, or you can make 15 points, and or you can stay on 18 to strengthen your board by 8-3 and 7-4. And I guess there are 4 options here. Every option seems great to me. I'm very tempted by making 15 points here to get an advanced anchor, and maybe to get some shots in his next roll. After his
well,
next
let's
roll
find out if you're right. Let's find out if you're
sorry.
right or not before you give too much of an explanation, because you might be making an explanation of the wrong play. But I didn't even consider making the 15 point. I like what you did. You looked at all possible plays that you think you might play, and then you decided, and you came up with the damn right play. And it never was on. This wasn't on my list, and nothing else came up. As you can see, Hideaki nailed it. This is proving that he deserves to be known as one of the best players in the world. Any other play would be a blunder. A blunder is anything more than point away. So tell me why you made this play.
Wow. I don't think anything except this was a blunder here. So I thought I want to get a shot in the next roll, and it seemed for me that he has several awkward rolls if you make 15 points. And I don't count exactly, but let me count now. So maybe 4-1 or 5-1, or of course White can attack your 20 point blood, but even if you are attacked, you can get some shots for almost every attacking numbers for White, except hit and cover.
Okay, well let me tell you why I didn't consider this play. You're not really winning the race. So
right.
You're up 2 pips. So why am I racing? This seemed like a racing play, and it just didn't seem right to me to race when you're not winning the race.
Yes, but the race is even, almost even, and in general, you don't want to keep your anchor on 20 points when the race is even. You have to stay if the white board is pretty strong, but this time he has no board and he has a blood on 3 points, so you are not abandon your anchor on 20 points is not so dangerous to me.
I see.
And
so I fell in love. I fell in love with my anchor on the 20 point. I love having that anchor, and you're telling me that you shouldn't fall in love in this game. Very good. Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next one. That was great. I'm really impressed. Let's move on to number 2. Okay. Again, it's blue to play, and now there is a score. It's 4 away, 3 away, and there is a cube. I want to point that out. And now blue has to play 6-5.
Wow. Oof. So apparently there are only 2 options. So you can play 6. 21 to 8, 15, and 8 to 2. There are 2 options to move 6, and the 5 is almost mandatory to from 7 to 2. Yeah, it's really a tough one. Okay, I'll go out to 15 and hit Sorry. We have 30 options to hide the lots by 5, 8 to 3. Wow.
So what you've identified is three options. One is to come out and hit. One is to come out and play safe. And the other option, of course, is to make the 2 point.
All right. Okay, I play safely by 50
You come out and play safe.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I'm one of those people that when I see a chance to make a 6 prime, it's very hard for me to say no. I love the feeling of making a 6 prime. And again, you got it right. And making the 6 prime is the second best play, but it's a .05. It's a 5% error. It's not a blunder. That was the play that I made. But coming out and playing safe just looked like too quiet to me because again, if the score's even. So why did you choose the right play again?
Because in this score you don't want gammon very much. Of course you need some, but not very much. And you are ahead in race, and so that means you have plenty of winning chances if you play safely. And the other play is a little bit dangerous. So like you can point on 2, but you may get into some trouble when opponents immediately enter with 1, especially double ace is a crusher, and even 1, 2 and 1, 3 may cause you some trouble to get into the
so you'll get counter primed a lot, and he has more timing to keep his prime than you do because he's more of an outside prime.
Right.
Now you were right. You nailed it when you talked about gammons. If you make the 2 point, you win 24% gammons, and making the safe play, you only win about 7% gammons. But what you mentioned is because of the score, it's not that critical to win the gammons. But why isn't it that critical? I mean, you have 1 point.
Yes.
I'm sorry, you have 2 points. So if you win a gammon, it's inefficient because you'll end up with 6 and you only need 5 to win the match. So the gammon value is not as high. If the score was reversed, you'd probably make the other play, is what you're saying.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess so.
And by the way, that's the beauty of extreme gammon. We can try that. Let's reverse the score. And where blue needs a gammon and the gammon would win in the match, it's probably right to make the point now. And sure enough, by a lot. Look how big the difference is. So this is one thing that I do with all of my students. I tell them on the first roll of every game, don't make the opening move, even if you roll a 3-1, until you have looked at the score and thought about what's going on at that score, what the gammon values are, what take points are, what your general strategy is at that particular score, so that you won't forget in the middle of the game. So here's a classic position where the score changes the play drastically. This is why I like match play so much more than money play. It's so much more complex and interesting. Okay, you're 2 for 2, and I'm very impressed. Okay, let's keep going. Number 3.
Okay.
The score, again, 2 away, 4 away, and blue is winning, and blue has a 3-2 to play from the bar.
2 away, 4 away. Oops. So I guess I have to make 11 points, but not sure.
So you come in with a 3 and make the 11?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look. I've rolled these out already. You're right again. And again, I'm sure it has a lot to do with the score, because at this score, your opponent will double you very quickly if there's gammon risks. And if he doubles and you get gammon, you lose the match. So you're saying you play safer here. One player I talked to said, well, in that score, you should make the 22 point, make the anchor, and that's the way to prevent gammons more. And of course, he is wrong by quite a bit. Why is the 11 point better than making the 22 point?
Because 11 point is much a valuable point. So sorry, this is the exact same as you noticed. So so it dropped his 20 points by 6, and the anchoring 22 is not urgent because white attacking structure is the same as opening.
So
yeah,
it's not that important to make that anchor right now when he has very little ammunition.
Yes.
To go after you. What would you do if the score was 0-0 to 5? Would you hit, or would you make a different play?
I guess I should hit to 5 points.
Yeah, that's normally what I would do. It's fairly thematic, and nope, it's real close. 0.001 between hitting and making the 11 point. Let me plus it. By the way, if you use extreme gammon, always use plus. It's much better evaluation than just plus. And if you're really not sure, then roll it out. But I always use plus before I make a decision. And let's see if it changes it. And sure enough, it did. When you went to plus, it now became slightly right to hit instead of making the 22. But it's so close that you really don't know. But you can see again the score matters quite a bit.
I can see plus analysis because of frozen screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're frozen. I know you're frozen because I'm in Chicago and it's 3 degrees outside. I'm frozen myself.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, you're 3 for 3. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4. Okay. Again, it's 2 away, 3 away now instead of 2 away, 4 away, and blue has a double 2-2 to play.
I'm sorry. So my screen is a little bit delayed. Then I guess because of heavy analysis on your computer.
That could be.
Yeah, could be. Okay. Now I see that.
It's probably because I'm thinking too hard.
Yeah, probably. Anyway. Yeah. Again, very tough position. I suspect I have to play with maximum purity, like 11 to 7, and make a 4 point.
Okay, you're going to slot the 7 point and give him a direct 6.
Yes.
Making the 4 points a no-brainer. Everybody makes the 4 point. There's no question of that.
Yes.
But but slotting the 7 point and putting yourself at risk to get hit doesn't make any sense at all, except that it's the right play and anything else is a blunder. So again, you're right. So tell me why you felt you had to slot the 7 point here.
Because you can't almost never win if you fail to trap white backman. And white structure here is pretty strong, and you can almost impossible to get out of his structure here. I mean, so you can jump out with 4, may jump out with 4, but at that case you are under much pressure of his attacking structure of 12 checkers and broken semi-prime. So the number 1 priority you have to do is to play purely and to trap opponent's backman.
All right, let me just play it. Let me play a game with you a little bit. Let's make the right play, which again I missed, and let's pretend that white rolls a 6, you probably lose the game. You probably get doubled out, don't you?
Right.
And if you didn't play that play, let's say you played a safer play, and he rolls a 6, you probably get doubled out that game that way also, don't you? If he rolls a 6, and even if he just doesn't hit and rolls a 6-4 or 6-5, you probably lose that game anyway.
Yes.
I don't know if you get doubled out because, well, I don't know. You might still be in the game. Let's give Blue an average roll. He gets to roll, and now let's put White on roll and see what the cube action is.
But this is very dangerous score for White. For Blue. Yes.
Oh, so you do get doubled out. I see. Yeah, the take point is 25%, and the gammon value is 0.5. There's not a lot of gammons here, but that's enough to bring him under the take point because he's just barely over 25%, and the gammons bring him down to a pass. I'm surprised it's that big a pass because the numbers are actually pretty close. But I think that answers the question. If he rolls a 6, you're dead anyway. So what if he doesn't roll a 6 and you make that point? You've got some counterplay here. You've got a chance.
Right.
Okay, you're adding 1,000. You haven't missed yet. We have 3 more problems. Let's see how you do with the rest of them. This is the next game we played. We played 2 matches, so this wasn't the same match. But now it's 5 away, 5 away, and White has a 6-2 to play.
Let's see. Okay, I guess we have to get out now by 24-16.
Okay, this one I got right, and you did too. The coming out is right, but I wasn't sure, and it just scared me to do it. But again, anything else is a blunder. Most people would be afraid to leave this double shot here. You're going to get hit 20 times plus the combinations of 1, 2, and 2, double 2 also hits in addition to 4s and 3s. But why is it right?
Yes, so it's definitely dangerous for me, but so there are not any preferable options here. So you will be in danger after any plays. Like, so the second best play is 24-22 and 15-9, but you are still in much danger of being hit with 4 on 9 points and blitzed by any 3 or any 5 on
and a 7. And the 7 also hits here.
Yes, right. So this play is not safe at all.
Okay, so this is something that I always teach. There is no such thing as a good or bad play in backgammon. It's only better or worse than the alternatives. So here you have a bad play, but it's not as bad as every other play, and that's what makes it the best play. So you have to compare, and even if you have, it's really fun to make a play where you roll double 1s or double 6s, and you've got all these great plays to make, and you're trying to find the best play. But people have a lot more trouble when every play looks bad, and you're trying to find the best play from a whole bunch of options that are all bad. So you came up to the conclusion, and so did I in this one, that as bad as this is, it's not as bad as anything else. Now, if you do make this play, here's what it looks like. Let's say he doesn't hit you. You have a pretty good chance of bringing these home or making points with him and going forward. But even if he does hit you, for one thing, he loses his midpoint, which is outfield control. So you do gain something by getting hit here. If you stay back, he could point on you here, and it doesn't hurt you as much if he comes, especially if he rolls a 7. He might hit you with a 7, which we know is there are 6 ways out of 36 to roll a 7. So overall, as bad as this is, it's just not as bad as the other options. I love that concept, and that's one of the things that that fascinated me when I was first learning this game, and I went to my first tournament, and I was watching one of the best players in the world, who was my teacher, Kit Woolsey, and he was getting killed. He had no chance to win the game or the match, hardly any chance, and he spent a good 5 minutes. They didn't use clocks back then. He spent 5 minutes trying to find the best play, when the best play might give him a 2% chance to win instead of a 1% chance to win. But that's cool. What you do. You fight. You fight for every ounce that you can get. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're still batting 1,000. You haven't missed. You got 2 more. And by the way, when Mochi did this with me and had 7 problems, he missed one. So let's see if you can beat Mochi again. Okay. This is still 5 away, 0-0 to 5, and you have a 6-1 to play.
To be honest, I'm not very good at this kind of position. Okay, the problem is whether like pay now or later. So you can.
So do you? In other words, do you make the 7 point and pay now and give him an 8 to hit you, or do you wait and play something else?
Yeah, right. Okay, I guess we have to make 2 points, or I mean, do something else. The quiz factor says no, because if there are only 1 play here, the safe play might be wrong, because there are many safe plays that are hard to compare for me.
Well, let's just narrow it down. Do you make the 7 point, or do you make a safe play?
Okay, I make a safe play. Safe play.
You make a safe play.
Yes.
Okay, let me show you the answer. And the answer is you make a safe play. And you're right. It's very hard to pick the safe plays because both of them are very, very close. But making a 7 point is clearly wrong. It's wrong to pay now. So again, you got it right. And why did you decide not to pay now?
Because you don't have to. And the 2 point is so you might play safely in your next roll or subsequent rolls, one of your subsequent rolls. But so you don't need to leave 5 shots immediately, and you have plenty of spares.
Another way,
yeah.
So you have time to, maybe you'll get lucky and roll doubles, or maybe you'll roll a 5-4, and you won't have to leave a shot. But if things get really bad, then you're still only going to leave that 7 shot anyway, the 8 shot anyway, and his board is very good, is good enough right now to where if you get hit, you probably lose. So even if he makes the 2 point, it isn't that much worse. So if you had less time, if you didn't have these 2 checkers here, or let's say you didn't have this checker here, you didn't have spares here, then maybe you'd have to pay now. That's part of the pay now, pay later decision-making process. But I'm interested in something else you said. You said you're not very good at these positions. You're probably still much better than me and better than most people, but now you have identified a weakness in your game. Are you going to do something about it? Are you going to work on it? Are you going to do something about it?
Not really. I have totally no idea how to deal with such a position. And so there are many.
Let me be a teacher, and I'm going to teach you what I learned from my teachers. You can become an expert at this kind of position simply by playing it out 20 times and then changing the position a little bit and playing it out another 20 times. And then you change the position a little bit more. First thing I would do is find out when you would volunteer. See what you have to do to change the position to make it right to volunteer. you can just play with this position for a half an hour or an hour, and you would no longer be anywhere near as bad at this position as you think you are. You'll get better. So that's something that XG had that we now. We didn't have this back when I started learning this game before we had these computer programs, because we could play it. We did play it out 10, 20 times, and the only way we knew what was better is looking at the result. And as you know, the result could be very wrong because you could get lucky 5 times. But now, if you play it out with the computer with extreme gambling, and you see every time you make a wrong play, and you play it out enough times, I promise you, in a half an hour to an hour, you can get good at this position. It's not that hard. You know so many things that are much harder than this position to play, and you've already proven that to me. So don't just give up, Hideaki. You are already one of the best backgammon players in the world. This is how you get better, just by working on this one position over and over. Okay. Let's move on. I mean, I even though you're a much better player than me, I do have 60 years of experience and 20 years of teaching experience. Maybe I can give you some advice. I don't think I'm being presumptuous. Okay, last one. If you get this right, then you're 100%, which would amaze me. I wouldn't bet anything that nobody would be 100%. Okay, you have a 3-1 to play here. Again, the score is 3 away, 2 away. Score is 3 away, 2 away, and white to play 3-1.
Again, I have totally no idea here. But I don't really want to play 17 to 13. So. Wow.
Well, if you don't want to play 17-13, that doesn't leave too many options, does it?
Yeah, so my 2 options are 20 to 18, 20 to 8, and so 5 to 1.
Well, 5 to 1 hitting, and 17-16? 5 to 1 hitting, okay.
Yeah, hit by, sorry, so there are 2 options for me.
What about 17-14 and 5-4?
Yeah, that's another one, but you are behind in race, so I guess I want to stay back to wait for a shot. Okay, time is over, so I play 12 to 8.
I'm sorry, you're playing what?
12 to 8. I'm not sure at all about this.
12 to 8, okay.
Yeah.
And finally, you missed one. But you were about to make the right play, which surprised me. Yeah, 12 to 8 is I don't know where that is. Here it is. Plus
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. You finally missed one. So you almost did it though. You start. Maybe I even talked you out of it when you said you were thinking about hitting. The right play is to hit, and simply play 5 to 1. Now that you see the right play, tell me why it's right to hit.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So, I'm not sure at all, but you may get some good shots after his next roll on the bar, and of course, dancing is good, and even get hit is not bad because his board has a blot, and he only has 2 numbers to cover. So
okay, I can promise you that the
yes.
Go ahead.
Maybe Blue have to scatter another blot in his next roll.
Like if he rolls a 1-5 or 1-5.
Pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. I have to notice that his 5 is really bad, except to 5.
So I promise you that the average player is going to play 17 to 13.
All right.
Almost every, which is a blunder, and most players wouldn't even consider the hit, which you did consider. So why is this so bad to play? Let me show you the play. Why is this so bad compared to the hitting play? Why were you looking for action in this?
The score, and you don't have to care much about the blot or the indirect shot, because you lost nothing by losing gammon compared to losing single game. Yes.
So your gammon cost is 0 because your opponent needs 2 points to win the match, and the cube's on 2. So you can play more boldly. You can take more chances.
Yes.
Okay, well, you did great. Don't feel bad about this one mistake. And as I told you in advance, I'm putting this up on YouTube for the world to see. Everybody's interested in knowing who is this new young great player that gave Mochi a run for his money and made Mochi work so hard. And you should be very proud of what you've done in just such a very short period of time. And I know you're going to continue to improve. And I can't wait until we can start traveling again, because my favorite place to go to is Japan. Outside of the United States, there's no place I'd rather go than visit than Japan. And it's not just because I love the country and the food and the scenery. It's because the people are so wonderful. Everybody I've met there, and I do want to give a shout out to Kenji, because I believe that Kenji is one of the major reasons that you are as good as you are. There are so many good players there. He was the one that really is the father of backgammon there, and brought all these people on, and he still is a wonderful, wonderful guy. And I can't wait to go to Never Never Land, to his bar, and play some backgammon and eat some sushi. And I hope to see you soon. I want to thank you so much for your insights, and wish you the best of luck going forward. And I know you and I will be great friends in the future as we spend more time together when we can travel again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.